came here telling me, hold on, you're the one that told me.
And your daddy broken pores, folks.
Yeah, and that's why your baby mama telling me about your useless TV and your washing machine. You have a TV and a washing machine, but no father. You have TV and washing machine, but no father. Where's the baby dad that clapped your cheeks? Where's the baby dad that clapped your cheeks? Where's the baby dad? Where's the last man that nutted inside you and never married you? Where's your husband? See, is this what your children deal with? Is this what your children deal with? I feel sorry for those pitneys. Because if you're crashing out on TikTok over a damn prompt, then I wonder what those pitneys are dealing with. You don't even know me and you're crashing out. This is how she treats her children. I'm telling you, these single, yes, you do, because there's no point. Don't come on my live, start cursing, all right? Act like you got some type of sense. You're a grown woman out here, a mother, and you're crashing out on my live. I know that's how you treat your children, but I'm not them. I don't know what baby dad knotted inside you, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me that pumped and dumped inside you and left in the street. Okay? You have a British accent, but using US Census Bureau. Duh, if I have American panelists coming on, I have to bring American stats. What don't you get? Is it very hard to comprehend that? Do you think it's any different in the UK? What do you think these single moms in the UK are living their best life? No, they're just as tapped as you Fefails in the US. I never said you was. I said panelist. Are you the panelist? I said panelist. Comprehend. Melanated Goddess said, why does that concern you? It concerns everyone when single moms are creating criminals in society. So we got Butter.
Yes, hi.
Yes, welcome. Can you please address the prompt?
So single moms are statistically nightmares. Prove me wrong. Well, so I can only speak for myself, but I feel like United States as a whole gets a bad rap, especially for middle class and lower class, right? So a lot of people aren't single moms because they were just out here tossing ass out in the street. Excuse my language. I just wanted to say it like that.
I understand, don't worry.
Okay, so me, I was married, got married right out of high school sweetheart. And then when I got pregnant, things got rough, like physical violence. So after my
Okay. Maybe I'm gonna start telling people the rules from the beginning. I don't want to hear anything about any type of DV, essay, anything type of violence. So
okay, I got you.
Any widows, AB, I don't talk about it. So maybe you should just leave out your life story out of it.
So I left and took my kids, which made me a single mom, but I was still married, right? But I was a single mom. And I waited until I was married to him for 11 years before I got divorced. But I still was a single mom. And I still raised my kids with respect.
Okay, so I have to stop you there. I'm not talking about victims. There's two people I don't talk about, victims and widows, because they didn't choose to be single moms. For example, a widow, she did what she was supposed to do, stay in a relationship until the man unalived, essentially. And then you have the victims. Well, why would anyone talk about victims? See a psychiatrist. So the reality is,
I don't feel like a victim.
Well, you are though.
If you are, a victim.
But you are. You're just in denial. If you're coming on my live telling me that you was in this violent relationship or marriage, then you clearly are a victim.
Well, because you said single mom, and at some point I became a single mom, is what I'm saying.
Yes, and what I'm saying is I don't do trauma dumping on my live. So I would like for it to just not be about victims or widows.
Okay.
And maybe use a different point.
Single moms can raise good kids. I raised good kids, right? And single moms can provide good lives without a man around. Now, you can't raise a boy to be a man, but you can sure enough teach him respect and how to respect himself and how to respect women. And at some point, you'll have men in your family who will step in and be role models. It's not that difficult, I promise you.
Okay, then. Would you say that children who drop out of high school are good children?
I say that generational curses are real, and if you
That's not
didn't
the
graduate,
question. The question is, children dropping out of high school, does that equate a good child?
it doesn't equate a bad child. They just didn't want to go to school.
So dropping out of high school means
It's
they're more
dumb.
likely. So
It's
how
dumb.
come? So okay then. So if you say it doesn't make them a bad child, then how come 71% of children from fatherless home drop out of high school, leaving
don't
these
have an
children
answer for
9
that.
times more likely to abandon their education? And these are kids who are under 18. So how
That
come
just means they didn't have a
71%? How
good
come
support
how come
system.
71% abandon their education but yet have a great support system and they're not even 18 yet?
Well, there's kids out here who have mother and father and drop out of school. I don't think that makes them
It
bad
says 9
people.
times more likely. 9 times more likely from a single mom household. So it's the difference between a 2-parent household and a 1-parent household is by miles. 71%. So that means only 30% of those who are raising a 2-parent household or less are more likely to do that. So how come if they have a great support system, 71% of children abandon their education before 18?
Well, I don't necessarily know that that means that they have a good support system, because someone with a good support system stays on track.
So then if they abandon their education before 18 years old, then clearly don't have a great support system if you can't even stay in high school and finish that off. I mean, that's crazy.
That's crazy, but do you have children?
That's none of your business. I need you to answer the question, please.
Well, because it's hard. I don't know how to answer that question, because kids are people as well, and they have minds of their own and opinions to formulate. And so, as a parent, you can only do one thing, and that's parent. You can't force. It's against the law in the United States to force. Kids have voices here, right? And so, after a certain, after 15, 16, they can make their own decisions. You can't even be in a doctor's
So
office with them.
71%. So 71% compared to 2-parent households decide to drop out of high school. And you say that single moms have a great support system. Meanwhile,
No, that's
majority
not
of
what
their
I said.
children.
That's not what
Well,
I said.
you said that single moms have great support systems. So
I
I'm
said
showing.
if they have great support systems.
Okay, then. So then this stat proves that they don't have support system, because clearly their children are failing to even just finish school.
Right, but not all single mothers go through that. That's what I'm saying.
Majority do though. 71% is way above average. It's way
Yeah, but
above the
I don't
majority.
think those statistics are right.
They are very
don't.
much right. They are very much right. National
think so.
Principals Association report
Is that from 2026?
is in 2020. It's very relevant.
That was 6 years ago.
It's still very relevant. There are stats that run from years, from decades. Even 10 years ago, it's still very relevant.
Still, cards are dealt the way that they're dealt at the end of the day. And single moms are not that bad of people. And
They clearly are if their children don't want to stay in school. 71%.
kids are bad. What am
Yeah,
I
the ones
talking
that come
about
from
here?
single mom households are. The
That's
ones that
not
come
true.
from, yes, it is.
Kids in two-parent households are
Even the
bad.
single,
Kids in
even
general
majority,
are bad.
even majority.
Kids
Listen,
are bad, period.
even majority of single moms don't have a college degree. 66% of all single mothers do not have a college degree.
That's not
So
true.
that is actually very
Oh, I
true. Do you
forgot
think?
I'm a victim, so I can't say that. I'm sorry.
So
I
yeah,
forgot I'm a
that's
victim.
it is very much true. 66%. So I understand where they get their stupidity from, because they learned it from
Yeah,
their
I'm a
single
victim.
mom.
She said I'm a victim. I'm not a regular single mom. I'm a victim. So I'm a victim. I don't.
Okay, yeah, don't talk to the comments, don't worry.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't believe it. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Then so you're just choosing just to ignore facts.
Well, because I tend to mind my own business, so I can only go by what I experienced. But you said I'm a victim, so I guess being a victim made it different for my kids. I don't know. But I did
Yeah,
my
but you can't base everything in the world based off your experience. That's illogical as well. That's a very illogical way to be able to consume information. For example, it's like talking to a rich man and they tell you, well, I've been rich all my life, so poverty doesn't exist. Doesn't that sound illogical to you?
It does. However, when we're
That's how
talking
you
about
sound right
something so
now. That's how
broad,
you sound right now. You're
well, I
basically
don't want to
saying,
sound
well,
that way because,
based off my experiences, I don't believe what's happening.
well,
What?
because I can only base things off of my experience. I normally can't speak on something that I've never experienced, and I have experienced being a
No,
single
you
mom
can.
by
You can
choice.
if you do research. You can if you have common sense. Not everyone experiences everything in life. I'm sure we all know that fire is hot, but I've never been burnt in my life. I've never been burnt by fire, but I know it's hot.
Single moms are not that bad. I'm just sorry. I don't agree with that. And I don't agree that all single moms are like freaking up their kids' lives. I just don't believe that. I don't.
Okay, then. So if that's true, how come the rate of children being AB'd in a single mom household is 21%? This is triple the rate of those in a two-parent home at 8%.
I don't have a response for that because you said we don't speak. You don't speak on stuff like that.
I talk about the children though, yeah. If it's not, I don't talk about the mom or the father, but if the children are being AB'd and are being victims, I'm definitely going to highlight that.
Right.
That needs to be highlighted more than anything else. I don't need to hear no trauma dumps from parents, but we are going to hear the trauma that these single moms are inputting on those children, yes. We're not going to sweep that under the rug.
No, definitely don't sweep that under the rug. Protect the kids at all costs, even though they're bad as hell. Absolutely.
Yes, because
I
they're
agree
raised
on
by a
that.
single mom.
No, that's not true. All kids are bad.
No, they're not. That's actually not true.
In my opinion. I ain't never met a good kid until they got out of the baby stages. Babies are bad, you know. It's just ugh. Kids run their mouth too much. Teenagers talk too much. You know, they're not bad per se. They just have too much to say for me. I'm glad that my turn is over. Thank you. Thank you.
So the reality is single moms are nightmares. That's the truth.
I don't know.
And it's funny that you can't even be able
No, I
to
was joking
answer
about babies
any
are
of my
bad.
questions.
Well,
How
because
come
I have answered your question respectfully,
but you
but you
don't
don't like
but
my
you don't
answers because I'm a victim, according to you.
no, it's not. Yes, because you're a victim, but you keep using these anecdotal points. That's not how you can be able to generalize things. I only
But it's gotten
generalize
me this
because
far in life, right? And so I like to be, if the shoe was on the other foot type of person. That's just who I am, right? If the shoe was on the other foot, what would I do? And that's how I view things. So, yes, I look at what I did, what I experienced, and I wouldn't do that, right? So I'm not going to be a bad mom because I don't want to be a bad mom. Still today, my kids are 28 and 29, and I still parent because being a parent doesn't stop.
okay then, but it still doesn't change the fact that the rate of children being AB in a single mom household is 21%. This is triple the rate of those in two-parent household. So in a two-parent household, the likelihood of those children being AB'd is at 8%. But it's higher with a single mom household at 21%. So you will just say, well, they're not ruining their children's life, but they literally are in every sense of the word.
I don't want to say that.
You don't have to say that. The stats say that.
I know you keep reminding us. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that I don't think the single moms are bad. Everybody has their own issue, their own hiccup in life, and things happen. Things happen. And when you think that something's going to go right and it doesn't go right, I don't know what to say about that. And then you become single and you just have to make do
No,
of
it
what you can make
doesn't
do
just
of.
happen. It doesn't. So you're saying spreading your legs open to a man just happened?
No, but what about the
So it
people who
doesn't
were
just happen, then
engaged and
doesn't.
then? Oh, but you said you don't not. Never mind
Yeah, the
that
people,
person.
yeah, the people who are engaged in divorce, that didn't happen either. That
Right.
didn't just happen either. majority of females are the ones who initiate divorce. So I know divorce is a whole entire process in itself. So that didn't happen either. It was a choice that they made.
So when I say it just happens, of course, I mean, there's a slew of events that goes on that leads you to that point. Sometimes it's just unable to be not happening. Sometimes it just has to happen the way that it happens. And then you deal with it. That's life.
It doesn't have to happen. If it's either this, females can keep their legs closed or stay married. It
Wait,
doesn't
what's a
have to happen.
female? What did you
A
say? A
female
female?
means failed female.
Okay, female. Is that a? I never heard that word before.
Well, today you have.
I did.
And
Thank
that's
you.
what these
You learn
and
something
that's
every
what
day.
these single moms are.
Female.
Failures. So
Oh, female. Gotcha.
it
Oh, that's
didn't just
sweet. That's
happen and
sweet.
it didn't have to happen. Why couldn't they keep their legs closed and why couldn't they stay married?
Well, what does it matter? Like, sex is sex. Like, at the end of the
Intercourse,
day.
please, or smacks.
Sorry. Intercourse.
It's okay,
Like,
thank you.
like that's like a human thing. Like, it's a human thing. Humans do it. That's what they do. It's like not
Yeah,
1946, not 1926. It's not
okay,
1901.
we understand this is what females do, but then the reality is you're just admitting that they're community boxes and this is what they do. They love to spread their legs open and let some any man not inside them.
Well, yeah, but that's this generation.
Nope, that's not this generation. Even the millennials are up there as well. It's actually more common for females to be in their 30s and be single moms.
That's horrible.
What, do you really think the millennials are keeping their legs closed as well?
I hope so. If they have to listen
No,
to
they're not.
be a female, I'm gonna start using that word. Because a female goes crazy. Just call them a smut.
No, because they're more than just a smart. They're more than just a community box. They're utter complete failures in society, and their children are more likely to be failures as well.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And I'm sorry that the statistics say that. That is horrible. That is horrible. And stop being females, ladies.
Well, I don't feel that way. That's just what's happening.
No, I wouldn't. But then why do y'all want to be a female? I know you told me don't talk to the comments. I'm getting down. Can you put me down? I don't know how to get down. Because single moms aren't that
Okay.
bad. I'm just sorry.
They are very much that bad. And the worst part about it is you won't just admit it. You would rather enable degenerate behavior than just outright call it failure.
Well, because I don't like judging people. Does that make sense? Like, I'm a different
Everyone
type
judges
of person.
everyone. You judge people as well. Everyone. This is it. There's not one single person on this earth that doesn't judge. When someone stinks, you are judging them.
Well, I keep
When
it to
you say,
myself, though. I
that
don't
smells
say it.
bad,
I just look
well, you're still
Right.
judging them.
on the inside, and I'll pray for forgiveness.
You're still
later.
judging. Wow.
But
So
I'm
you
not coming
rather
out telling people how to
you
live their
rather just
lives.
keep it to yourself than just be honest. And
Well,
that's
because
enabling.
This is the United States of America. I'm not getting shot for my opinion.
I'm not saying that you need to say it, but the reality is you came here to debate about single moms and you still want to enable that behavior. Instead of just saying, you know what, they are failures.
Well, because I don't want to call anyone a failure. Everyone has the opportunity every day to be better than who they were yesterday. So I just don't agree with that. That's just my opinion. And, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one. So it really doesn't stand up for anything. But I still feel as though everybody goes through whatever they go through. No one's perfect. If we were perfect, then half of the stuff in this world wouldn't be going on. That's just how I feel, right? And you learn by trial and error. Sometimes, yes, maybe a young girl was out here popping her, making a mistake and getting pregnant. Okay, so then she learned from her mistakes and moved on in life and found and had a happy life. Sometimes that doesn't work.
Majority of single moms don't even move on and have a happy life. Majority of them actually end up being very mentally disturbed by their own degeneracy.
Oh no.
They don't move on, they just stay as failures.
All I'm saying is that people make mistakes in life. That's all. And are you going to hold everything that someone does against them? That's not fair.
It's not about holding everything they do against them, but you need to also understand this is not a small mistake. There's a whole human being involved that's now put in a disadvantage because of what one community box did.
So,
And this is not just one, it's majority of community boxes are doing this.
right. And
They're
if they
all
all
simultaneously ruining their children's lives.
so if they all chose to get rid of the baby, then everybody would say, "Oh, you're a murderer. You got rid of the
Don't
baby
use that
pro
word, please.
life,
Say unalive.
unalive," right? So, like as and some
So
people
what
don't
happened
believe
to
in stuff
keeping
like
your
that.
legs closed? So what happened to keeping
Okay.
your legs closed? What happened to being on contraception? What happened to maybe don't have intercourse when you're ovulating? Not everything has to go to unaliving unborn babies.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, and sometimes people that are unexperienced don't know what's going on with their bodies. Maybe they're young, didn't have the right hiding it from their parents. They're scared and then they do dumb stuff, right? And then don't know, then they find out they're pregnant. Anything can happen, is what I'm saying. There's so many different scenarios on why somebody, one, would have been given out their box, or
Well, then they
two,
need to accept that they're failures. It's just that simple. Accept that they are failures. They need to accept that they are failures and try and raise their pitneys not to be a failure as well.
wait, what
But
the
to
heck is
make
a
it seem
pitney?
as if,
Is that a
but to
kid?
make it seem as if, oh, it's nothing. It was just a mistake. They're now going to move on and live their best life. That's not true. A lot of them, 42% are poverty stricken. A lot of them can't even afford for a plate of food.
Well, there's a lot of people in America right now that can't afford a plate of food, okay? Because President Trump
Well,
is
it's
the scene today.
worse. Well, it's
Right.
worse if you have a child, though.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I don't have a disagreement with that part, but I'm not agreeing with the degenerate whole thing and the fufa, what was it?
Fefail.
Oh, a female, right? I just still feel like people are people, and women make mistakes just like men make mistakes, and I just don't. And then that's the other thing: women make mistakes. They have intercourse with a man that's not their husband, that maybe they're in a relationship with, or seeing, or dating, or however, and then they get pregnant, and then the guy leaves them alone, and then they choose to keep the baby, and now they're stuck with the baby. He gets off scot free,
Yeah, because
and
she's the one that chose it. The reason why he gets off scot free because she bears the most responsibility. How is it that you are as a
Angela, you're
biological
angry in
woman?
them comments. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
don't worry
I'm
about the comments.
yeah, she
Don't
writing
worry about
big
the
cats
comments.
and
No,
stuff.
she's not angry. Don't worry. So the reality is that if you as a biological woman know that you are going to be the one who's going to have to deal with the most burden, why are you opening your legs to a man that you don't even know even wants to marry you? Because clearly he didn't if he left you while you're pregnant.
Yeah, you're right, but still, stuff happens, and people just do things on the spur of the moment. That still doesn't make them bad people, and it still doesn't mean that they're going to be a bad parent.
No,
I'm
it
just
makes
saying.
them irresponsible and stupid and
Yes, it does make
degenerate.
them
And
irresponsible.
all of those things make a bad parent. Would you not say an irresponsible parent is a bad parent?
I do think that an irresponsible parent is a bad parent.
Well, guess
But
what?
being a
Those are
single
there.
mom
You
doesn't
have
make
it, a
you
single mom.
irresponsible.
Well, she clearly was irresponsible. She was getting her cheeks clapped, and she
Yeah,
wasn't
but we
married, and the
don't
baby dad
know.
left her.
It,
Don't you
okay.
think it's irresponsible to lay down with a man that clearly didn't want to be a father?
Well, sometimes you don't know that, and sometimes these men be out here lying now.
So
Come on
why
now.
didn't you? No. How could you lie? What type of lies you saying?
When
Go
I
on,
say
please.
lie, sometimes men paint a picture, and sometimes it takes a few years before you learn the real truth about that
But he's
said
not your
man.
husband. He's not your husband. You don't need to have intercourse with him. Keep
No,
your
you
legs
don't.
closed.
But that's the way of the
All
world.
right then. So then they chose to have intercourse with this man. It was
Yes.
nothing to do with
And
the lies. I don't
condoms
know
break.
what lies. What
Contraceptives
lies
doesn't
are they telling
always
you
work.
to take your panties off?
I mean, they could be promised in the future. Who was that basketball player from Philadelphia? Oh, the one that passed away. He was messing with a girl in Philadelphia. Okay. And when he became famous, like a top notch basketball star, he dropped her and got the wife that he married, that he had the children with, right? And she sued him for palimony because he promised her a life and she won. So that's what I mean by set you up, lie type situation.
Then
Tell
she
you
was
one thing and then
dumb.
do
That's
something
the
else.
reality. She was just dumb, just like every other single mom is dumb to believe a man's lie, and he doesn't even do what he said he was gonna do.
Well, she didn't have
Keep your
kids by
legs
him, but
closed.
she did walk away with that money.
Yeah, I'm not saying about the kids. What I'm saying is it's dumb to believe a man's gonna marry you and he hasn't done it yet. That is outright stupidity. The guy
Yeah.
says, I'm going to marry you, but he hasn't married you. I mean, don't you see that's a lie?
Yeah, that could be considered a lie. But sometimes, if you're in love and you're sprung and you're not thinking clearly because you think you're in love and you think that this is the man that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, and you're in love, you might do some stupid things. Every young girl has done dumb things, and you're not going to sit on this phone, ma'am, and pretend like you've never done anything stupid that you may regret now.
No. Not everyone. This I know it's hard for you to believe that, but there are women out there who are actually intentional with their lives. It
Yes,
may,
I was
it
one
may,
of them.
it may,
And
it may be,
still,
it may be. Hold on,
I
it may
turned out
be.
to be a single
Hold
mom.
on. It may be a foreign thing to you. It may be a foreign thing for a lot of these single moms. But there are women out there who are intentional and don't regret everything that they've done. Because guess what? They weren't in the streets being community boxes. The only people that really begin to regret the choices that they make are really community boxes, are the ones who wasted a lot of time with the wrong man. Those are the ones who really regret.
Now, sometimes the wrong man you're right about the wrong man situation, because sometimes it's just the wrong man, but sometimes you don't find out until it's too late. Sometimes, like real stuff, like sometimes you just can't avoid the drama and it be
You
too late.
can. You can
Yes, and
avoid the
when you
drama. If
realize
there's
that you
drama, then
avoided
you
it,
leave.
and then you leave, but guess what? Now there's already a kid involved, right? So now you're leaving to go be a single mom.
Well, guess what? She was dumb enough to stay that long enough. It's very simple. Keep your legs closed. It
I
should.
think we
It
just don't
should.
like
It
single
should. There should
moms.
not be this much. There shouldn't be this much excuse to tell Fefails keep your legs closed.
I think you
We
just
shouldn't
don't
have
like
to.
single
We.
moms in America.
I mean, society doesn't. I mean, no one really likes a single mom because the reality is they are degenerate.
That is not nice, but I mean that's your opinion. And again, everyone has buttholes, so
It's not
I
my
respect
opinion.
your
If it,
opinion.
do you think mothers out there want their daughters to be single moms?
Absolutely not. Well, I know I
Do you
wouldn't.
think do you think fathers out there want their daughters to be single moms?
Hopefully not.
Do you think anyone even wants to see their son marry a single mom?
Now I know I wouldn't, but I wouldn't judge if my son
So
married
this
chose
is
to
what
marry
I'm
a
saying.
single
No
mom.
one likes these Fefails. They just don't. Everything about them is
if my
just
son wanted to date
full of
a young
failure.
lady who had a kid, her and he was going to be a stand-up guy to her, I would encourage it. I would be okay with it. I would have his back. That's just me. That's just me. Everyone deserves to be loved. It doesn't matter.
It has nothing to do with love. This is it. It's nothing to do with love. It's about standards. If you can't even love yourself, then why are we talking about love? They clearly didn't care about loving themselves when they let that man clap her cheeks. It's nothing to do with love.
I disagree with that. I was a young girl once upon a time, and I did some things that I'm not ashamed of. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've ever done. However, I've done some things in my life, and I'm glad that I did those things. It turned me into who I am
What,
today.
be in the streets?
I'm not in the
be in the streets? Well, you said you've done some things. What was you in the streets?
Well, I learned how to fight, sneaking out the house to go to the projects, and learned how to and hanging with the gang girls. Yeah, I learned how to fight. Now I know I can fight. Right? I've done a lot of things that I'm not ashamed of. Right? Because it made me who I am today. That I can stand on 10 by myself if I had to. I just
Okay,
don't
then
agree
I'll
with
be
that.
very honest with you. Very honest with you. See, your reality right now is not a reality anybody wants. So the truth is coming from you. It doesn't really sound motivating. It doesn't really sound like, oh my God, I would love to be her. If anything, people want to avoid to be you because
to want to be me, because
it's not about that. What I'm trying to show you is, even though that you say that you're proud and you're not ashamed of the past choices that you've made, but taking a look at your reality is not really a reality that people are looking to be in.
Yeah, because I live quiet and peaceful.
Yeah, I'm talking about everything that you've told me about your life. There's no woman that would want to be in your shoes.
Well,
So your choices is not a choice that anyone would choose if they're gonna find themselves where you are.
My point of that
And that's the
my
point.
choices could have led me in jail. My choices could have led me murdering unaliving someone.
Unaliving.
Right, I corrected myself. My choices that I did when I was a teenager could have went south, but it didn't.
I mean, you say
And
it
I
didn't go
learned from the
south,
things
but
that I've done that I did.
I'm
and I
sorry,
knew
but
not to
as
do it again.
you sit here as a victim and your
Oh,
choices.
no, not a victim.
Yeah, but
Not a
that's what you
victim.
are.
Please
So
stop calling me
the
a victim. I'm not a
reality is
victim.
the reality is, once again, the choices that you've made. If any other woman saw, well, if I made these choices and I ended up like butter, they would do the complete opposite.
Wow.
And this is the point. You may not be ashamed of those choices, but your reality isn't a reality that any woman would want. Isn't a reality they would even want for their daughter.
Right. So because of the decisions that I made as a kid, I made sure that my daughter didn't want to have those kind of options, because I learned from my mistakes that I made as a teenager. So things went different. I made sure I moved different for her, made sure she was in gymnastics, cheerleading, made sure I showed up, made sure we was in sports, education on point. It's just not what you painting it to be. I'm sorry. I'm probably wrong, and that's just me. And I don't need anyone to want to live my life or want to look up to me. My daughter does, and that's all that matters to me, right? And my granddaughter
No,
does as well.
I understand. I understand about you, but generally speaking, a lot of these single moms choose to be failures. They chose to be single moms. They chose to be community boxes. And with the choices that they made, results in their children being at a disadvantage.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
It's just that simple.
Want to defend America. I just want to defend everybody then, because it just bothers me so much when other countries have so much negative stuff to say about people in America, and I just be like,
it's not just about the US. It's Western society. Even here, the BOK Fefails, whatever Fefail, they are just as degenerate.
Oh, okay.
So it's
it's
nothing
around
new.
the whole world.
It's in Western society. In Western society, you have these Fefails who want to be community boxes and then pop out a bunch of babies and they want to blame men for it. But the reality is, who asked you to be in them streets? Who asked you to fight for sexual liberation?
Well, go ahead.
And this is why I say they chose it.
I mean, yeah, they probably chose it, but it ain't the men's fault now. Get that together. Everybody makes their choices.
Yes, men made the choices to bust a nut. That's the choice that they made. Now, as a woman, why aren't you making the choice to make sure this man that you're choosing to engage with any type of intimacy with is going to be your husband? Men are not the ones that carry a child for 9 months. That's just the reality. Men are not the ones that carry a child for 9 months. Okay, I'm just going to quickly acknowledge a super chat. Thank you, Thera, who sent $5 US. Why claim to be the most educated if you can be so easily fooled by a man who just wanted the box? Facts on facts. The truth is, majority of single moms are not even educated. I never understand why they love to use the whole, well, we are educated, the most educated. Single moms are not even that educated. 66% don't even have a college degree. And the reality is, how are you so educated, but you are in the streets? I would think being educated would actually mean you would be a little bit more smart. But then they come up more dumb. It's as if the education doesn't even exist. I don't know why these Fefails talk about their education if you can't even use your brain. If your brain can't even tell you what man is going to treat you like a community box, then don't you think you got bigger issues to deal with? See, the reality is a lot of these Fefails, they love to enable single moms. They always want to make it seem like single moms are the best moms out there. Single moms are the moms that did it for us. Single moms are the ones that stayed. No, they're not. No, they are not. They are the weakest link in society. They are the least type of Fefails who you'd even want to even pop out a baby. They are the least Fefails you would even want to see raise a daughter or a son. No, you don't want to see them coming with a child. Because the reality is the only thing that they are going to bring in society is going to be dysfunction. That's the only thing they are going to bring is dysfunction. A lot of Fefails always want to make it seem as if they are the greatest mums. Meanwhile, their pitneys drop out of high school, being neglected, maltreated, poverty-stricken. Their daughters are coming out to be community boxes just like their mothers. 71% of teenage pregnancies were raised by single moms. They're just raising mini thems. How are you a great mom if your daughter's going to turn out to be a community box like you? How are you a great mom if your daughter is going to be a community box like you? How are you a great mom if your son is going to get groomed by other gangs? How are you a great mom if you can't even afford the time to raise the pitney? If you have to go work just so you can feed that child and no one is there raising them, you dump your child either at daycare, your parents' house, or a random babysitter. But that's a great mother, right? That's a great mom who literally dumps their child anywhere because she can't even afford to take care of them. But you know what? They will enable this type of degeneracy. They will enable these Fefails because they don't want them to actually be seen as failures, even though it's clear as day their sons and daughters come out to be failures. It's clear as day everyone raised in that household is going to be at a disadvantage. Mello, welcome. Can you please address the prompt?
Yes, I can. Single moms are statistically nightmares. I actually don't want to dare try to prove you wrong. If I may ask a question, I wonder what you have experienced to give you this point of view, because I agree with so much of what you're saying, and I wonder why other women don't see these things. And if it's, off topic, I'll drop, and I'm no disrespect. I just wonder because I'm low-key, I'm grateful. These are things that I don't have to say because of somebody like you. These are point of views that are very, very sensible, and they're not rooted in anger or hatred or anything. They're rooted in you're literally looking at what's going on in certain parts of the world, and you're able to see with a fair eye that there are things that are being literally gone awry, astray, and it's affecting our community as a whole, and you're speaking about it, and I'm grateful.
Okay, well, thank you. I mean, I think it's just something that needs to be spoken about. A lot of these Fefails love to promote this whole baby mama, single mom culture. They love to promote that you don't need a man to raise a child. You can do all bad by yourself, when clearly they can't do all bad by themselves. Clearly, they're struggling to do bad by themselves. And we can see the results in not only their livelihood and their mental health, but also their children. So I think they love to push out a lie that really needs to be stomped out.
Yeah. I say thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you for coming up. So this is it. A lot of these Fefails, they love to celebrate degeneracy. They love to celebrate degeneracy. There used to be a time where single moms would be too ashamed to throw a baby shower. Single moms would be too ashamed to even talk about their child that they had outside of wedlock. That's the reality. Today, no, single moms will celebrate. It becomes like a wedding. The baby shower is the new wedding. The baby shower is the new greatest event that's ever going to happen in her life, because she's definitely not getting married. There ain't going to be no man. So this is the peak. This is high as it gets for her, is that baby shower. And there's a problem with that when you want to celebrate failure. There's a problem when you're comfortable celebrating degeneracy. That whole mentality needs to be stomped out. Okay, I'm gonna just acknowledge the super chat. Thank you, El Castigator, sent $5 US. Men standing up as a collective to provide structure and discipline would be a good start. Facts on facts. Honestly, if you take a look at the stats, majority of men don't even have children. Majority of men have never even had children. And this is it. What you really have is a bunch of baby dads, a bunch of men, a minority of baby dads and men who are pumping and dumping in these Fefails. Because if you really look at it, majority of men don't even have that type of privilege to pump and dump a majority of Fefails. Because if you say majority of them have baby mamas, then really what you're saying, it's easy for majority of men to get access to majority of women. That's not true. Men still have to pay for box. Men are still trying to pay for box. So the reality is there's only a minority of men who are creating these baby mamas. And this is why I don't even have sympathy for a lot of these Fefails. Because it's not as if it's just majority of men and majority of women creating broken homes. No, you're telling me there's only a small percentage of men that are clapping your cheeks? There's only a small percent of men that are creating broken homes with you? It just shows how you Fefails really enjoy the worst type of men in society. The men who don't really want to be fathers, the men who don't want to get married, the men who enjoy just exercising choices because they can. They love the cheaters, they love the liars, all the things that these Fefails complain about, they love all of that. I don't know why you complain. You are a gold medalist degenerate at this point. If you was in the Olympic, you would win gold medal for being degenerate. Because it's coming like it's a talent. A lot of these single moms, they can't help but create broken homes because that's who they are. It doesn't matter how many times you say, keep your legs closed. It doesn't matter how many times that you say, well, you know when you're ovulating, you can give them every window and how they can avoid. On how they can avoid being a single mom. And they will still find a reason to open their legs. They will still find a reason to create a disadvantage in that household. A lot of times, these Fefails don't have shame. They're only ashamed because now they have to deal with a pitney that they don't want. They're not ashamed. A lot of these Fefails don't have no shame at all. They have no shame about the degeneracy that they have indulged in. That's why they will outright lie. They will hold that L as if it is the prize. And they will lie. That's one thing I've definitely learned about Fefails. A lot of these single moms, they will lie. They will lie about everything that they are doing. And they will try and make it seem as if they're on top of the world. They are living their best life. They're making their money. They're not even doing that. You sound like a pick-me. You sound like a pick-me to me. I don't care what I sound like. At least I don't sound like a single mom. I'd rather sound like a pick-me than a single mom. Why on earth do you think I would find a problem with that? Have you heard single moms? They sound bitter. They sound angry. They sound stressed. They sound broke. They sound miserable. They also sound lonely. I'd rather sound like a pick-me than that.
Okay, you invited me, so I'm here.
Yes. Welcome, Kelsto. Can you please address the prompt?
What's the prompt? The prompt is single moms. I don't think any human being is lower than any other. So that's number one. So I don't agree with your prompt. But I just said you sound like a pick-me because that's what I said. Yeah, I was about to scroll because until you invited me.
Okay, then. So you said that you don't believe that a human being is under what? Below
Any
what
human
exactly?
being is less. No human being is less than another. And I feel like until you can make one, you have no right to judge one. So
Yeah,
if
no,
you,
we
yeah,
can
I
definitely
mean,
judge. We can
you, yeah,
definitely
you can.
judge if there's enough
You are
information out there.
You are entitled to judge anyone you want to, but it doesn't mean like until you are the creator of human beings and you've made them, you can define them, but you are not the creator of human beings. You might be a
I
producer
don't
because
I
you
don't
sound
need
like
to
a
be a
female.
creator.
Yeah, that's
I don't
just
need to
me.
be okay.
That's for me.
I don't need to
You're allowed to judge
That's
them.
fine.
That's your choice.
So
But for
let's
me,
say so let's
definitions don't
say
come from you. They come from God. So
okay then, yeah. And God
yeah.
made these definitions, right? God made these definitions. God made the
But he
definition of
didn't make
neglectment. Hold
less.
on. God made these definitions, which I completely agree. So these definitions clearly have meaning. So what's the meaning of 42% of single moms are considered poverty stricken?
Like I said, if they're poverty stricken, there's communities out there who help them.
No, they clearly don't have anyone helping them because they're
No, they
poverty
do.
stricken.
They do.
No, they don't.
They have a lot of people, a lot of agencies, a lot of family members, a lot of people are out there helping single moms meet up. There are a
No,
lot of them.
that's actually not true. A lot of single moms actually deal with a lot of mental health because they deal with everything alone.
But there are people out there, communities, people are being
But there's
funded to help them.
majority, yeah, the government will assist them, but they don't have this big community helping them.
There is a big community helping single moms out there.
What's the community called then? What is it called? What is it called then? Tell me.
You are allowed to judge.
What is it called?
That you're not.
All right then. So what is it called? This community that helps them. So tell me one.
Yeah, there's one that's called Single Mom Arms. There's family groups for moms. There's cabinets. There are people who help single moms get dressed to go into the workplace. There are people who fund single moms to buy cars. There are people who fund single moms to have lunches for their children at school.
Okay then. So if there's a lot, okay. So if there's a lot, then how come single moms compared to every other woman are still more likely to unalive themselves if there's such great support around them?
There's a lot of more people who are alive themselves who are in jails who have mental health.
No, we're talking about the single moms. We're talking about the single moms compared to every. Hold on. I asked you a question.
I don't know your facts.
Hold on. Then you need to do your research. So the question is, how come, hold on. I don't know why you're getting so triggered. All right then, so act like you're not.
I'm not triggered, my dear. Trust me.
Then so answer the question is very simple. You said that single moms, hold on, you said that single moms, so you don't have the answer. So then the truth is there's nothing you can do. It's literally government sources. If you even just look up UK and US, you will see that the unaliving rate for women is getting higher, and the type of women that are doing it are single moms at the highest.
Okay,
it's very simple.
Can I speak now?
So if they have so much support, okay then. If they have so much support, how come they're unaliving themselves? You can speak now.
Are you going to interrupt me or you can drop me?
Go ahead.
Single moms, women as a whole don't naturally use physical things to underarm themselves. It's not something females do. They don't go and do these things. That's not what women do. When you see violent acts, they're not usually coming from women, okay? A woman won't do that. She'll abandon more than she'll do that.
No, that's a lie. Why are you lying? So are you telling me women don't unalive themselves?
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that women don't unalive themselves? Are you saying it doesn't happen at all?
But they don't do it violently.
Okay then. So it's not about if they do it violently or not. They're still doing it.
To underline yourself, you have to do it violently.
You're not making any sense. No, you're not making any sense. You're in denial.
I just don't align with
You're in denial. You're in denial. So you don't. So yes, you are, because you don't want to acknowledge that single moms. You don't want to acknowledge. You don't want. Yeah, because you're not making any sense. But you're not making any sense. You're literally saying that single moms don't unalive themselves.
I said most women don't violently hurt themselves.
Don't say violently, please.
Yeah, women don't do that.
They are though. They are doing that.
No.
Yes, they are. The unaliving rate is getting higher.
Can I continue? Let me know
You're
when I
just
can
lying,
continue.
but go ahead.
I am not here to validate myself. Do you understand? If you don't like what I'm saying, it doesn't change me. Okay? Can I
It doesn't
continue?
change that single moms are unaliving themselves.
Yeah, but
Whatever
it
you
doesn't
say is
mean,
doesn't
but it
change that
doesn't
single
change. You
moms are
can tell me,
struggling.
you can
It
call
still
me
doesn't change
whatever.
nothing.
My dear, you invited me here. I didn't bring myself up here, okay? You want me to speak, I will speak. If you don't want me to speak, I will continue
I'm
strolling.
just saying you're just lying. That's
It's
all
not
I'm
going to
saying.
make
You're
me
lying.
cry. It's not going
You're
to change
just
my life.
lying. It
That's
doesn't matter
your
if it makes you cry. It
choice.
doesn't change your
That's
life. It's just the fact you're lying. That's all I'm saying. What you're saying is just an outright lie. Go ahead.
to answer the question. Females do not usually use that kind of method to end their life. When a woman is stressed, she's most likely to abandon than under whatever word you want to use. So for me, when you tell me that most single moms are doing that, I'm trying to figure out from a female point of view. They'll rather abandon their child, or if they're going to do something like that, they'll either abort. But if they have chosen to have that child, I don't think they're
Say
going to go and try.
AB.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to try to do that because women have many other options to do that. When you say people under whatever word you're using do that, usually are men. Men usually are the ones who use bing bings. They usually hang themselves. They usually use those kind of things. So for
Okay. But
say
you're,
that single moms are
Kelster, do
doing
you
that,
know? Do you
I
know
don't.
that
I need
42? Do you
stats.
know that? Do you know that 42% of single moms are more likely to unalive themselves?
I need stats. I can't answer that because it doesn't
40.
make
So
sense.
then,
It doesn't
but
make
okay
sense
then.
to
Oh,
me.
hold on. Then you didn't give me any facts. You're just telling me they're more likely to do this and
Yeah,
that.
that's why I
You've
said I
given.
can't
So,
answer that.
all right
This
then.
was the
So
first
I'm
thing I
telling
said. I
you.
can't answer
So then
that
you don't
based
know.
on
Then you
these
don't know the
stats.
stats. Then you don't know the stats. It's just
It
that
doesn't make
simple.
sense to me.
It does.
I
Of
can't.
course, it
It
doesn't make
doesn't make
sense to you
sense to
because
me.
you're in denial. Because
I'm
you
not
are
in
in denial.
denial.
You
You're
are in
saying
denial.
no.
You
Women
are in
don't do
denial
that.
because
Women
yes,
don't
they
do
do.
that.
Yes, they do.
Women
Did you
will
know? Yes, they
abandon
do.
or they
No, they
will
won't.
AB their
Did you hear?
child
No, that's a lie.
beforehand. They
That's not
will
true.
abandon. They
Single
won't
moms are
go
more
and do
likely.
that
Single
themselves.
moms are more likely to unalive themselves and their kids. That's the truth. They are.
No,
You hear it
because
all the
most people
time.
who do that are men.
No,
When you look at the
no, it's
news,
single moms. Single moms
no.
are
You
more
see,
likely to unalive themselves and their
if you
kids.
go into psychologists and you go into all these things, all those people who
We're
have done it,
talking about
most
all women. Kel,
let
listen to what I'm
me.
saying, okay? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm sure
I'm
you're not
allowed to
stupid,
disagree with you.
okay?
I'm allowed
You
to
can
disagree with
disagree.
you.
Yeah, you can
You also
disagree.
allowed
You
to
can
disagree
disagree.
with me.
You can disagree with logic, but I'm not talking about
This
men.
is not
I'm talking,
logic.
it is
This is
logic because
your
we're talking
opinion.
about women.
This
We're
is your
talking about,
opinion.
it's not opinion. There's logic to
It's your
this.
opinion.
There's logic to it. Because you're not making any
Mine
sense.
also
You're
has
basically
logic, my
saying,
dear. What I'm saying also has logic, so we can
no, there's no
disagree
logic
to
to what you're saying
disagree.
because you're
We
saying
can
that
agree to say because I said
single
I don't
moms
want to
don't
answer the
unalive
question.
themselves.
Maybe you should
That's
ask
your
me another
logic.
question.
You're saying that single moms are not depressed. It doesn't make any sense. You're
That's
just
a
lying
different
at this
question.
point.
That's a
No, it is
different
the same
question.
thing. It's
If
the
you are
same
saying
thing.
are
If they're
single
more
moms
likely
depressed,
to unalive themselves,
engage.
then they're
I
more
can
likely to
engage
be
that.
depressed. What are you talking about?
I can engage that single
And
moms are depressed.
this is why the single mom stats are a nightmare because of Fefails like you. You want to talk about they have a support system. You want to talk about they have all these cases, all these charities that help them. But in reality, they're still struggling and they're unaliving themselves.
You are pick me. You bring women down to make yourself
I don't
look
care
good.
if I'm a pick me. I don't care. I'm
That's
glad
what
to
you
be a
are,
pick me than a
bad
single
side of the
mom.
pick me. You bring women down to validate
Yes, of course I'm
yourself.
going to bring single moms down. Of course I am. They are
And
complete,
that's not a
utter
good
failures
thing.
in society.
That's not a good
It's
thing.
not a
That
good
means
thing to
that
be a single
something
mom.
inside you
It's
is
not a good thing to
broken.
be a single
For you
mom. It's not a good thing to be a single
You
mom.
cannot advise
It's
them.
not a good thing. No, what should
for
I
you to
advise
say-
them for?
Advise them
It's not
nicely.
my
You
job.
sound
Am
like
I
you
their
are
parent?
degrading them.
Am I
If
their
you don't
mother, their
like it,
father?
advise them nicely.
No,
Don't
there's nothing to
degrade them.
advise them. No, I'm not here to advise anyone. I'm here to
So you're
stamp
just
out
here
this
to shame
mentality.
them,
Yes, I'm going to
belittle them,
shame every
and
single
just make so that you are bad, pick me. You are
yes.
making
I
other
don't
women look
care.
bad
I'd
to
rather rather be a
validates
pick
your
me than a single
brokenness.
mom. I'd rather be I'd rather be a pick me than a degenerate. I'd
Sounds like
rather
you
be
have
all of those
something
things.
inside you that's broken. That's sad.
Oh, that's what you females always say
No,
when you have nowhere
that's
else to
so
go with the debate.
sad.
You always want to make it seem like that someone has a problem. No, it's just
You
common
have a
sense.
problem.
It's just common sense.
If
They
you
are
really wanted
failures.
to- if you hated single moms in society,
I never
talk
said I
to
hated them.
advise
No one
them,
said I
tell
hated them.
stop being
There's
single
nothing.
mom. But what
No,
I
there's
hear
nothing
from
I can
you
do.
is
There's nothing
hate.
I can
What
do.
I hear
Listen,
from
Kel,
you is
Kel. See, this is
and
this is
that's
what
not
you don't
nice.
understand. This is what you don't understand, right? It is not
don't
my
understand?
job. It is not my job to help anyone, and it's not
Okay.
my job to help failures.
So you're
That's
not
the
kind.
truth.
So you're
I
not a
never
kind
said I
person.
was. I never said
You're
I
not
was.
a nice person.
I know. Isn't
don't
it
care about
obvious?
people.
Is it not obvious when I call them
So your
Fefails?
whole
Duh.
platform is to shame and belittle.
My platform
and
is to
define
debate
people according to your-
hard-headed Fefails like you. That's what my
not-
platform is for.
I don't
Is
even
to
know what
debate
Fefail- what does
hard-headed
Fefail mean?
Fefails like
What
you.
does
It's failed
Fefail- what does
females.
Fefail-
Failed
what does Fefail
females.
mean?
I'm saying it. Failed females. That's
I'm
what
not
this
fa-
live is for. Is to
my
debate
dear.
hard-headed Fefails like you.
You make me laugh. Failed. What
Failure,
part of me is failed?
failure. Yeah, your whole mentality is a failure.
What part of me is failed?
Your whole mentality.
Nothing about me is failed. I don't
Your
need
mentality.
You to validate me.
I don't need. I'm not here to validate you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what it is. Your whole mentality is a failure. Everything that came out your mouth is
it's not.
degenerate. Nothing that you said
you
is
just want to be
consistent
right.
with
You
anything
want
that
to be
is right.
right, my dear.
Anything that is a standard.
You want
You
to be
are the
right.
typical female mentality that was
If you want
birthed
to
out of
be
Africa.
right and you want validation from being on your platform, making people live.
It's not that I want to be right. I am right because everything I say is backed with stats. Everything you say is backed off emotions.
That's fine. You are right because you are shaming women. You are right because you are making people feel small. But to me, you just look like a very sad, broken person.
Okay, the reality is they already made themselves feel small. The truth is,
not me.
hold on. The reality is single moms already feel small. They already
I
feel
don't think
crap
so.
about their
I don't
lives.
think
No, they
so. If
do.
you wanna talk
They
about
do.
single moms, talk
They
about
do.
the act.
Hold
Talk
on.
about the
Hold
reason,
on.
but don't
They
tell them
do.
they feel
No, they
small.
do.
You
Because
have
if you
no
take a look at the
power
stats,
to do that.
if it's not about power, if you take a
You
look at the
have no
stats,
right
if you
to tell
take a look
people
at the
they are
stats,
small.
if you take a look
You
at the
don't have
stats,
that right.
hold
You're
on.
not that important to tell people they're small.
They are small. They
No,
are.
to you.
They have lost
To
their
you.
value. No, to
You are
society.
seeking validation
To
for
society.
yourself.
To
You are seeking
society.
validation
They
for
are
yourself.
small. To society, they have lost their inherited values. Yes. Yes, of course they have.
No, they are
Yes.
a society like elderly people, like people with disabilities, like people who need help. They are like those, like the poor, like the homeless.
No,
They need
no, they're
help.
not. No, they're not.
Yes, they
no,
are.
they're
They
not.
need
No, they are
help.
grown adults who
They
chose to be
need
community
help.
boxes.
Even okay, their
If they
choices-
needed help,
their
then they shouldn't
choices
open
might
their
not have been
legs.
the best
If
choices.
you
They could have made
knew
better
you needed
choices,
help,
but
why
have
are
no
you
right to
opening
tell
your
them they're
legs?
small. You have
They
no
are
right to tell
small.
them they're
Yes,
small.
yes, we
No.
have all the rights to
So
say
you
what
are
we want to
here
say.
to
Okay, so the
shame
reality is,
women on your platform, and that is
of course,
sad.
I'm going
You
to
are
shame
more
single
broken-
moms
you are more
happily.
broken
I'm
than the
going
people
to
you're trying
shame
shame.
degeneracy. I'm not like you.
are
I'm not a
more
liar.
broken.
I'm not a liar. I'm not an enabler. I'm going to be honest when I see a failure. See, it's easy for you females to tell men they're dusty, to tell men they're brokies, to tell men that he's a DB dad or he ain't it, she ain't that. See, if it was about a man, you would be here agreeing with me. You would have all the
No,
worst
I
things to say
wouldn't.
about men. Yes,
No,
you
I
would.
wouldn't.
But when it comes to when it comes to single moms and these females, now I'm a terrible person. Now I'm all of these things. No, I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
You
There
are
are failures
honest
in
to
this
who?
world. There are failures in this world, and single moms are one.
It's fine, but what you are doing is also failure. What you are doing, sitting here degrading people, is also failure.
No,
You
it's
understand?
not.
If you
It's
wanna
actually
help
not. It's
them,
speaking
if
the
you wanna
truth.
help them,
It hurts.
talk
I
about
never
the
said I
point,
wanted to
talk
help
about
them.
solutions,
I
talk
never
about
know.
how
There's
to
no.
stop
The
them.
solution
But all
is.
I
Let me tell you the
hear from
solution. You want to hear the
is
solution?
abuse,
Let me tell you the
shaming, and
solution.
belittling.
Let me
That's all I
tell you
hear
the
from you.
solution. Shall I tell you the solution? The solution is find a BLK man and submit to him. Keep your mouth shut and learn to listen. And maybe you'll find yourself being a married wife instead of a community box. That's the solution. But these Fefails rather get their cheeks clapped. Okay? Submit to the man that you want to be with. Yes, that's the solution. The solution is submit.
It comes from a place of hate. You're not helping these women. You are.
I told you the solution. The solution is submit to a man. The solution is keep your legs closed and find a man you want to submit to.
There's nothing wrong.
It's just that simple.
Keep their legs closed, they should. There's nothing wrong if women keep their legs closed. Let them keep their legs closed if that's what they want to do. What I'm up here to do, and I agree with you. If you don't want to have a baby, keep your legs closed. But don't sit here and shame them. Tell them they're belittled, they're small and everything.
Yes, I'm going to. Yeah, shall I tell you why? Shall I tell you what? Because that's exactly what they are. See, unlike you, you don't want to be honest that people in this life are going to be failures. Failures exist. There are people in this life that are going to be put at a disadvantage. And if you don't talk about it, what happens is it's going to keep happening. Because no one actually learns from the consequences and no one is actually being told about the consequences. See, you rather just paint this nice picture that doesn't exist. See, you want to lie and say single moms are not depressed. Single moms are not unaliving themselves. But in reality, hold on. In reality, you are lying. But in reality, hold on. In reality, it's a lie. In reality, when someone does become, hold on. In reality, when someone does become a single mom and she does feel depressed and she does want to unalive herself, she's going to listen to you and you're going to make her feel like her experience doesn't exist. See, what you Fefails do is you want to make it seem like...
Should I tell her to go and unalive herself so you're happy?
What I'm saying is, hold on. I never said that. I never said that. What I'm saying is,
I'm talking love, I'm talking recovery, I'm talking let's not do it again and let's do better. You're talking they should go and unalive themselves so you feel
I never said that. Who said that? I never said that. What I'm saying is you have to talk about it. You heard what you wanted to hear because clearly you got too many wax in your ears. Yeah, people like you don't want to be honest that single moms are depressed and single moms are unaliving themselves. You want to make it seem as if it doesn't happen, but it does happen. And if people don't talk about it, then people are not going to know the state of single moms.
I'm not going to stay here while people are muting me.
Yeah, because you are not listening. You're not. Because when I want to...
You don't matter to me. I don't need to be on your platform. You brought me up here. Do you understand? If you want
I understand. I'm still gonna mute you. You think I care? Do you think I care? I'm still gonna mute you because you're just a failure. You are just like any other Fefail, a failure. That's what you are. And what you do is enable every other single mom to be a failure like you. The reason why you don't want to tell single moms about themselves is because you want company in your life. You want people to be sad and miserable and lonely like you. That's why you enable single moms. That's why a lot of you Fefails rather lie to single moms because you don't want to be a failure by yourself. You don't want to see young women get married, have families, have the husband that you don't have. I know you don't want to see other women live the life that you couldn't live. I get it. I pity you. I pity you because you are the one here who doesn't want to be honest. You enable failure. That must be a very pathetic place to be. I know it must be very pathetic to be you when you can't even be honest about single mom's mental health.
Hello.
See, a lot of these Fefails, all they do is just lie. They just lie. That's all they do. And the truth is, they rather watch a single mom burn Literally, they rather watch a house burn down than admit it's burning. That's what you have with these Fefails. They rather sit there and watch something burn to the ground than actually say, you know what, there's a problem. Because they're also burning to the ground. Calesto, she's burning to the ground. Calesto has been in the streets getting her cheeks clapped. See, a lot of these Fefails who enable this behavior is because they enable their own behavior. See, this is the standard they live up to themselves. This is the standard they live up to themselves.
You invited me up again and you're telling me I've been on the streets? Are you serious? I'm on the streets now. Did you tell me I'm on the streets?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you know this?
Your mentality.
Oh, my mentality tells you I'm on the streets, right?
Your mentality is a mentality
your
of a community box. Your mentality is of a mentality of a community box. No, because everything that came out your mouth is evidently clear that you are not traditional. You don't live up to any type of standard. And if you did have a husband, he is definitely a simp.
Oh my God, you're so sad. I feel for you. I
feel for you. Honestly, you enable the worst behavior. That's what you do.
I'm going to even try to explain myself.
You enable the worst behavior. That's what you do. That's what you Fefails do. That's what you Fefails do. You are illogical, you're emotional, and then you don't back anything up with stats. I will do that. Yes. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Yes. Yes, I'm definitely judging your mentality. Yes. I never called you a single mom. I never said you were a single mom. I never said you was a single one. I'm saying is you're a Fefail. I'm saying is you're a Fefail, and you want every other Fefail to be miserable like you. See what you have with these aunties. You see these aunties right here? These aunties right here will lie to you. These aunties right here will lie to you until they're blue in their face. Your stupidity is what's hurting me, Kelsto. Your stupidity is what is hurting me right now. Because nothing that you say has any logic. You are the one who's hurting me with your stupidity. Your illogical mind is what's hurting me right now. Your brainless, your bird brain right now is breaking my heart. Do you understand? You are the one who's breaking me. Because nothing that you say is logical. Your bird brain is doing this to me right now. It's your bird brain. It's your bird brain. Your bird brain is what's hurting me. Your bird brain is what's breaking me, because I am finding it so hard to understand how someone could come out as stupid as you. And the worst part about it is you came from the motherland. You would think that an African woman will be cultured and will be wise and will be intelligent. But here you are sounding like every other Western Fefail. You are no different. You would think she's African. She was raised in an African home and she would have some type of standard and mentality. And here you are talking like every other bird brain in Western society. You are the one who's hurting me right now, because you are so unwise and so unintelligent for an auntie. It's so embarrassing. You should be damn embarrassed that you're on TikTok right now and you have no type of wisdom to you.
You don't matter.
How do you have so much culture and so much roots, and this is what came out? How is that even possible? How is it so possible that you flush down your toilet, you flush down your root to be a community box? How is that possible? How is it possible? Huh?
Yeah.
I know your parents are ashamed of you. I know damn well they wish they had a son. Because there's no way on earth they're watching their daughter be in the streets.
If you're not scared, why you keep muting me? If you're not scared, why you keep muting me?
Scared of what? Scared of an auntie on TikTok? Do you think I'm scared of an auntie on TikTok? An auntie on TikTok. Is that what it is?
Oh, you are scared. That's why you mute me. That's why you
I
mute
mute
me.
you.
You're scared.
I
No,
mute you
you mute.
because I want to finish what I'm saying
You
first. That's
mute me
why.
because
When I speak, I mute. Yes.
you're
That's
scared.
what's
You are
happening.
scared. You are a
Scared
scared
of
little
what?
girl. You are a
Scared
scared
of
little
what?
girl. That's
You
why
are
you mute
failed
me.
auntie. You
No,
are
you
failed
mute me because
auntie.
you
You
are a
are
scared
failed
little
auntie
girl
from the
and you won't
continent.
let me
You are
speak. You
failed
can't hold a
auntie. You failed
conversation.
your
You are a
parents. You
scared
failed your
little
grandparents. You
broken
failed your whole
girl. That's
entire
why you
family.
can't
You
let me
flushed down your
speak.
roots to be a
No.
feminist. You are a failure to the world. You're a failure to your lineage. You're a failure to your bloodline. Scared of what? Degeneracy?
So let me
Huh?
speak. Let me speak if you're not scared. Let me
What do you
speak
have
if
to
you're not
say?
scared.
Go on, what
No,
do you have
let
to
me
say?
speak if you're not
Just say
scared.
it
If you're not
then.
scared. Okay, first of all, you don't matter. Okay? Second of all, your opinion and who I am are far apart. What you say is a reflection of you, not of me. So you can say whatever the hell you want. It doesn't change me. Okay? You're not that
Of
important.
course, it's not going to change your
Yeah.
failure.
Just know that. Just know that. Okay. You can. I've been on this platform. I haven't called you one name. You understand? You've called me every name under the sun, and for me, it just shows me how far and broken you are beneath me. Okay. Number two, you keep muting me because you won't let me have a sentence because your intelligence won't have a proper back-to-back conversation. Do you understand? Without insulting me. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, darling, it's okay. Go and shame as many women as you want because your intelligence proves so. Okay? And I have not insulted you. I just spoke from what you've said. And obviously you are scared. So go and cry. Thank you. I'm out.
Oh, what a pathetic speech. Honestly. You would think you was going to give me a little bit more, but you gave me a pathetic speech. Once again, you come with no wisdom, no knowledge, not even an ounce of intelligence. That's how I know you Fefails want everybody else to be miserable like you. See, I couldn't understand if you was a Fefail in Western society, but you're not. You actually was raised a certain way, but you chose to be a failure. You outright chose to be degenerate. As a grown auntie like you, yeah, shame is definitely needed. Because a lot of these aunties will happily sit back and watch everybody else burn to the ground, even aunties like Calesto. So I'm going to acknowledge a super chat. Want to say thank you to El Castigator sent $2 US. Bring back shame, 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 shame. Thank you, thank you. Facts on facts. These Fefails, they're just in denial. And I don't like liars. I cannot stand liars. And that's one thing I couldn't stand is that she's just lying. And it's like, how can I proceed with the conversation if you're just out the bat lying? You're just lying. Nothing that you say is even consistent. I would rather hear anecdotal experiences than just pure lies. I can't respect that. And I find it hard to continue debating with liars. So I will call out the Fefails for the lies that they put out. And then they get triggered by it. Then they get upset that I'm calling them a liar. Then they get upset that I'm calling them out for what they are. Now it's a problem? No. See, a lot of these Fefails, they just love company in their misery. That's really what it is. They just love company in their misery. And single moms are the best companies. That's what Fefails love to do, They love to sit there and have a good old chin wag about their failures, about all the no good men, the men that were were awful, the men that were cheaters, the men that were manipulators. They love that. That's what they want to do. They all want to just have a good old chin wag until they hit the grave about all the no good men that ruined their lives, and do whatever they can to be able to get back at those men. They will never actually sit down and talk about, hey, let's take accountability for how you failed in life. Let's take accountability for what you did in life. Hey, let's actually try and change our behavior and make sure our children don't come up that way. No, you will never get that type of conversation from a Fefail. That's not happening. That is not happening. Going to acknowledge the super chat. Thank you, Eric Jordan, sent $2. The sisterhood has failed you royally, can't be saved. Yep, the sisterhood definitely failed them. Terribly. The sisterhood definitely failed them. Okay, so we have, what, is it Jakisha?
Jakisha.
Jakisha.
Yes.
Okay, welcome, Jakisha. Can you please address the prompt?
Pardon me?
So the prompt says single moms are statistical nightmares. Can you please address the prompt?
Well, some are and some not. Some of them is very, very evil. Some of the single mothers, the things that they be doing to the fathers is not right. They need to take accountability for their actions if they did anything towards that father. Instead of being a snob. That's my opinion on that. Sit down and speak.
So you said some are and some aren't. So what are the ones who aren't?
The good ones who work with the baby daddy. As a teamwork taking care of that child. Even if they separated, that's the good moms. The ones that being argumental and doing different crazy stuff, those are the problem.
Okay then, so how are they good moms if they are the ones who usually destroy the family? They are the ones who usually break up the relationship or the marriage. How are they good moms if they are the ones who created the broken home?
No, they're not a good mom if they did that in the relationship. No, they're not. But the co-parenting, sometimes they do the co-parenting good with the father. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but this is the issue, that they are the ones who wanted it to be co-parent. So the co-parent shouldn't exist. They should be together.
Exactly.
So then that's not good parent then, isn't it?
No, that's not good parent.
So I don't understand where's the some coming from, because to me, they're all bad parents.
Some of them do the right thing, though. They take care of their kids. Some of them do the co-parenting with the father, even if they separate. And they communicate with each other without arguing.
I mean, they're all taking care of their pitney to some extent. You know, some may be better than the other, but the reality is when they chose to be a single mom, they are forever going to be the bad. It doesn't matter anymore whether they're co-parenting or not. They chose to be a single mom. Co-parenting is not a two-parent household.
From a woman opinion, it have some crazy men who be leaving the woman pregnant too. It have some of them play women, leave them pregnant, and go about their business also. That's why I say it have some good mothers.
How could you play a woman? How could you play a woman if she doesn't open her legs?
Hello, people could be young and things could happen.
So then it's not. So men didn't play her. She was just young and dumb and chose to open her legs.
If that's your opinion, I don't think so.
So how can a man play her then? You just told me because she's young, but how can a man play someone who chose to open her legs?
Sometimes a woman be put in a certain situation, she need help, and she be with a man, and she end up in that problem.
Yeah, I'm not talking about rape. I'm not talking about victims. I'm not talking about someone that was forced. I'm talking about two consensual adults who chose to have intercourse.
Play games. The older men play games with a young woman, you know.
So
This
how?
happened
How are they
every day.
playing games if she chose to open her legs? I'm trying to understand, what game is this?
Listen, you have common sense as a woman, right? We
I
have
do
common
have
sense.
common sense, and I don't
Men play
see the
games too.
game.
Men
What's the
play
game
games
then? So
with
tell me
women
the
too.
game.
They have a
Tell me the
family and
game.
they have a family and they could go create the other family and lie to the other innocent woman who didn't know anything.
So what's the game? So she lied to the woman. What is she?
He
What was the
lied,
lie?
not she. He lied to the woman
Okay. What was his lie? What was his lie?
that he was single, and when she found out he wasn't single, she was already pregnant. And he had a
Okay, so
relationship
he
pretending he
lied.
was a
So
single man.
so he
Yep.
lied that he was single, and she opened her legs.
And they had a relationship. She didn't just open her legs like that. He dated her, he been with her, and he lied to her all through the relationship till she found out she was pregnant, and then she found out the truth
So why
that he
couldn't
had
she
a
keep her
family.
legs closed? Why couldn't she keep her legs closed in the relationship?
Listen, a woman could keep her legs closed so long. Things happen.
So then it wasn't
So
because
you could so
it
hold on,
wasn't.
hold on. So you could tell me you a virgin then. You hold out to be a virgin for a long time and you married, right?
What I'm saying is, a woman should be intentional with who she chooses to lay down with. So you
Listen,
don't need
things
to open
happen.
your legs.
Things
So you
happen.
don't need to open your
Things
legs
happen.
as
And
quick
that's
as
that.
you get into a relationship. That doesn't need to
Things
happen.
happen. Listen, sometimes you don't listen. Sometimes 2 years you with somebody, you still don't know them. You don't open your legs right away for a man.
So that if in 2 years you don't know
Listen,
the
my lady,
man,
things
then
happen.
what that shows is that she clearly has no discernment. So the only thing you have to tell me is that things happen. Things happen. Men play games. Men can lie to you they're single, but they have a family. I mean, was you born yesterday? We know this. We know men play games. Everyone understands this. Does it mean open your legs? I didn't know men have to say they're single and then voila, you open your legs. Is that how easy it is? You just tell her I'm single and she opens her leg. Is that how easy it is these days? A lot of you Fefails love to say men play games, but you're not telling me the games that they're playing. Thanks. A relationship with someone, emptying things happen to you, have a relationship with them. Yes, I understand that, but the reality is, why didn't she vet this man? See, a lot of you Fefails, you always want to make it seem like, well, the man tricked her. The man tricked her. No, the man didn't trick her. She didn't do enough to actually get to know the man. She didn't do enough. Why didn't she take the time to learn who this man is before sleeping with him? Happened to someone, okay? Yeah, we understand it happens to Fefails. See, what a lot of these Fefails like to do is make it seem like men are just running game on them. Men are not running game. You want to be a part of the game. You like it when the man run game.
Listen, I know someone that happened to them. I'm talking about somebody else's experience. I'm not talking about experience of mine. A friend of mine that happened to her. And I
So
know
don't
he did
you
that. He did that to her.
don't you think, right, that she chose to be with a liar? She chose to be with a man who
She
clearly
did
had
not
red
know he
flags.
was a liar because his whole family was into the game too. His family was lying all along. Far as I know, what she told me.
So then wouldn't you say that she wasn't good at vetting? She didn't vet this man enough?
She spoke to him. She had a relationship with him for 2 years. She knew him for 2 years. She had a relationship, and he was lying all along to her. Some men do that, Trust me. She did not sleep with him right away. She took a year before she slept with him.
Yeah, it sounds like she likes degenerate men. I have to just be honest, because the reality, I think it must take a lot for a man to lie to you to that extent. What, does she have no family? Where were
She
her
had no
family? Where her...
she had no family. She was very young. She was a teenager. She had no family. She had nobody to help her out, and she got trapped. That's what happened to her.
What do you mean she
No,
had no family?
she had no family. Her family's in another country.
So why was she in another country by herself?
Why people leave from one country to go to the next country to get a better life, right? Sometimes
So
people
she chose to
go
leave
different
her
places.
family, go to another family, and get pregnant.
Listen, far as I know it, she was with her family. Her family kicked her out because they didn't want the responsibility of helping take care of her.
I'll be honest with you. It sounds like she was already fast. I'm just gonna be real. It sounds like she was comfortable being in the streets. She definitely didn't look out for red flags, because it don't make sense how you could just be young and get up from one country and move to another country.
Listen, she had moved with a parent of hers,
You
and
said
the
she had no
parent,
family.
she only had that one parent, and that parent was not responsible with her.
Yeah, your friend sounds fast. Just gonna be real. She sounds very fast. She sounds like she left one country to go to another and was completely rebellious, and she believed this man probably loved her and never did. But she was already rebellious from the beginning, and she was already fast from the beginning, and that's how she found herself in that relationship.
I won't say that. I know the whole story. It's a lot more. I could go on and on. She's not a fast person.
Yeah, she
Sometimes
clearly was.
get themselves in situation and she needed help.
No, because the reality is, for you to move to one country and go to another country and end up
Listen,
pregnant,
she came with her parents. She came with the parent.
she came with the parents. What happened with the
Her
parents?
parent. The parent was a deadbeat to her.
Oh, goodness me. This whole trauma dumping, you're not even proving me wrong. You're just telling me some anecdotal experiences about your friend who was in the street. The reality is, all of these Fefails, they choose to be single moms. Your anecdotal experiences doesn't change the reality. So you want to say some, but they're all the same.
Some women have experiences that wasn't good. It go both ways, men and women. It go both ways.
I would disagree that it doesn't go both ways.
Listen, women do stuff and men do stuff.
Majority of men don't have children, so it doesn't go both ways. It's
A man
mostly,
could say he have no children and have 20 kids, 10 kids. You know that?
yes, men lie to get nyash. We know that. Only dumb Fefails fall for that crap. Men lie all the time to get nyash. There's nothing new.
Okay, I hope your life is perfect though.
It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. You don't need to have a perfect life to keep your legs closed. You do know that, right? Is that what perfect life is for you, Fefails, is keeping your legs closed? You don't need a perfect life to do that. And that's how I know a lot of you Fefails are in the streets different. Because, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes bad choices. What are you talking about? Not everyone makes these degenerate choices. Not everyone is in the streets young. Not everyone gets in useless relationships and situationships over and over again. Not everyone is young and talking to boys. That's not every woman's reality. And what they want to do is make it seem like, well, we all do it. No, you keep that, because that's not everyone's reality. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge a super chat. Thank you, King Porter sent US $2. That's the problem right there. Exactly. A lot of these Fefails, and it's interesting when they say some are good and some are bad. And then when you listen to them break it down, well, the good ones are co-parenting. Did you not know co-parenting is not the way? I mean, did you not know that the child is still in danger because the father is not living in the house? I don't know why Fefails think encouraging co-parenting makes it any better. It's no better. The man needs to be in the house. The man needs to be in the house where the children will see the father, the biological father, every single day, every single night. That's a healthy two-parent household, not co-parenting. Co-parenting is not a two-parent household. Co-parenting is not a healthy household. It's still a broken household because clearly there's someone lacking. So it doesn't make any difference. I don't know why Fefails always want to make it seem as if one is better than the other when they're just as bad as each other. They're just as bad as each other. And I know damn well a lot of you Fefails don't want to admit that. You always want to make it seem as if one is not as bad. They're all the same. I don't know why people try and enable these single mom households. Welcome, Nams. Can you please address the prompt?
Yeah, single mums are statistical nightmares. I
Are
personally
you
don't
really
believe.
implementing those words, or are you just as a champ because the whole world is saying my body choice? Oh, sorry.
I don't believe that single mums are statistical nightmares. Now, however, I do believe, people do make mistakes. And I do agree with you when you said, you have the choice to close your legs and to not engage in such intercourse with a man. And I do also agree with you when you say that men lie. Yes, men do lie, and I also agree with you when you say you need to vet people properly. However, I would also like to add that although even you can spend time vetting someone, getting to know someone, and asking all of those, deep questions, or asking the questions that you want the answers to, you don't really know someone until you know someone. And even then, you don't really know someone. You get what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. So until
think-
you know, until she knows that someone, she should just keep her legs closed.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, I'd like to add is that both men and women nowadays in 2026 don't have discernment, and they what's the word I'm trying to use? They don't have self-control. That's why you see a lot of single fathers and single mothers that have kids because they don't have that self-control. You get what I'm saying? And they also don't practice safe intercourse. There's heaps of things you can do nowadays to practice safe intercourse to make sure that you don't get pregnant or you don't have a baby, etc. Right? There's heaps of things out there. There's info out there on the web. There's the internet. So when people say, "Oh, I didn't know this, that, and the third," I call BS on that because there is info. The world is now advanced. It's not like back in the day where there's no internet, there's no computers. Now you can research things. Now you can go to the hospital and get procedures done. So you don't. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I understand. One thing I would say is I think, honestly, men have a little bit more self-control when it comes to these females because there are more women who have children than men. And the
yeah,
reality is, females can't seem to be able to pick the right person, even with all the options that they have. And
yeah,
somehow men can be able to do that, and they don't
yeah,
even have all the options. So
yeah,
yeah, self-control is important,
yeah. It's
although
definitely important.
females need
Yeah,
more self-control than men because
yeah.
they are the ones who are creating these broken homes. They are the ones who are being more reckless than men.
Yeah. I would also like to add though, from my personal opinion, I think that's like a both way thing. It's like a two-way streak when you're usually when you're in a relationship with someone, it is a two-way streak. It's not, one-sided or whatnot. So I think when it comes to choosing your partner and choosing someone that you're going to, spend the rest of your life with, or someone that you're going to marry or you're going to date long term, that is very, very, very important. And I think us as human beings, men and women, we struggle with that. We struggle with, we just want to rush to the next step, rush to the next stage. It's like a video game, you just want to skip the first chapter and go right to the end. I don't think it should be like that. I think, people need to learn
I
to be
think,
more
yeah, this is where I
I think people
disagree with
need to
you.
learn to be more
I think
patient.
women need to
Yeah.
have more self-control than men
Yeah.
because they are the
I
ones.
think it goes both ways though. Personally, from my
Yeah,
opinion, I think it goes both
yeah,
ways. I
I
think
understand
men
you
and
personally.
women.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You personally believe that,
Yeah.
but I disagree with that because it's the woman who has the most burden.
Yeah.
She's the one who's now dealing with the pregnancy, with the
Yeah.
baby, with
Yeah.
everything that comes with it. So the
Yeah.
person who actually needs the most self-control is the woman because the
Yeah.
man, he's not going to deal with any of that reality. He's
That
not,
is
he's
true.
not going to be pregnant for 9 months. He's not
That
going to
is
go
true.
through labor for maybe 2 days in
That
pain.
is
Men don't
true.
have to go through that.
Yeah.
It's never going to be a man's reality.
Reality,
So
but it is gonna be, but it is gonna be hard on both on both people. Like the man and the woman, it's gonna be hard on the woman because obviously she's having to go through that labor. She's having to, all the contractions, all of that. What women have to go through, that's very, very hard for women, and it's also gonna be hard for a man because now this is new to him. Now he's gonna be a father. He's gonna have a kid that's coming into the world. He's gonna have
but
to,
it's not going to be as hard.
is
It's not
yeah,
going to
it's not
be
going to
as
be as hard,
hard
but it's going to
for,
be hard, and
and that's the
and
point. And to be honest,
as a man,
he away, then it's not hard at all.
of course, but if he looks away, then he's a loser, right? He's this, he's that. That makes him look like not a very nice person. So that's what I'm saying, right? Men and women both go hand in hand. You need to have that self control. Men, we think with what's down there. Women, they think more with their emotion, that sort of thing. So I think as men and women, we need to learn to have self control. And like you said, vetting is very important. Getting to know somebody is very important. Asking those questions is very important. You know what I'm saying? Taking your time is very important. I feel like people don't do that nowadays. They just want to rush to the next stage, rush to the next step. Take it one day at a time. Get to know the person. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Okay, then. All right. So,
one more thing I wanted to add before I go. Men and women lie. We both lie to each other. So you could get to know somebody and you think you know them well, but then they could be lying to you this whole time. And that's the sad reality of dating. That's why there's not a lot of genuine people in this dating game or in this world in general,
okay.
because people lie to each other. And then when people lie to each other, it's harder to get to know somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you. No problem. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Welcome, Classy Perspective. It's good to have you. What did you have to say about the prompt?
Single moms are statistical nightmares, which it is 100% true. Actually, when you look, especially, I can only speak for America because I live in the United States. As you can see, these single mothers at one point of time was to the courts, the family courts was more of financial incentive. But now in today's world, they're now becoming a financial liability because the family courts was netting about $65 billion a year after taking their percentages of the child support from the man and giving the rest to the woman. Nowadays you're starting to see a shift where a lot of states are starting to come up with these new laws of how to make it a little bit equal for the men, because I think, and not to mention, we seem to be leaning closer towards mandatory DNA tests across a lot of states nowadays, because you're actually having a lot of judges that's taking a step back and thinking, after dealing with some cases that were paternity frauds, they're coming out to say, wait a minute, there's a moral problem that's happening, that we have to stop this. So nowadays you have a lot of women that are now starting to get upset about this stuff, because now the states, almost all the states are leaning towards mandatory DNA tests, which is something that I thought should have happened a long time ago. However, I want to say something. Nams, what's his name? His name is it Nams?
Yeah, Nams.
Where I agree with him 100% from a moral composition, a moral position. However, statistically, Remnant, I agree with you more, because based off of the statistics, men have less children than women. That's just facts. Especially here in America, that 70%, I think it's like 62 or 63% of the 70% actually have multiple kids by multiple men. See, we don't talk about things like that. We talk about the little small few, but we don't talk about things about that. And I try to tell, you know who I blame for that whole situation when it comes to married women talk about being single mothers? I blame my first lady, Michelle Obama, because she had said that on an interview while Barack was away. Reminder, this man is the president of the United States. He cannot be around 24/7 when he's trying to protect not only the Western countries, but trying to protect from other presidents, wherever, man or female, from trying to do something to America or Britain or other. This is just my opinion on that. So she made that comment, but it was very good, because I'm like, you're trying to get the attentions of single mothers that feel bad. And see, I try to tell these ladies, the idea of single moms is talking about women that are unmarried, not women who are married. You are called a divorcee. And if something happened to the man that you had a baby by and you were married, you are called a widower. Now, some men in the world will give, kind of give leeway to that. Not when we're talking about a woman who just randomly picked a guy that she was attracted to, not paying attention to if the man has a condom on or not. She is responsible. She's being irresponsible, because I was just having a conversation with my friend. I didn't know that you brought me up. I never understood the idea of my body, my choice. It sounds more like a chant around the world than actually taking it serious. Because even, let's just say I'm one of those guys, and I have had the pleasures of many women. Never had any kids out of wedlock, but at the same time, I knew always to protect myself, because I've always looked at the situation that, who am I to get a woman pregnant for the long term? We didn't agree to this. And I'm not going to get a woman pregnant without being married. Does she want to look at me for the long haul? Was this just for the moment? That's just how I always looked at things. But at the same time, when I hear that chant, my body, my choice, it's like, now, however, there are a lot of guys that's not like me. So why would you give power of attorney to a guy that you didn't see put a condom on to have sex with you? I never understood that, if it's my body, my choice.
Facts.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
And what he was saying, yes, I tell men all the time, look, listen, if you don't want to have a child, please put on protection. I'm 100% for men wearing protection at any given moment, because at the same time, a lot of these women, the reason why they're coming at you, because they know deep down inside that they made a mistake. They knew that the man that they were attracted to wasn't trying to be with them for the long haul. No different than a woman trying to get with a rich man is not trying to be with you for a long haul. Yeah, you might get a Birkin or a Chanel bag out of it, but then it's sayonara after that. Next woman up. That's how some of these guys nowadays are treating y'all. And y'all already know this. This is nothing new. This has been going on since what, the 80s? And you ladies, y'all get mad about this stuff. And I'm like, we got all this in a database in the hospital. When you fill your taxes out, it asks you for a marital status. If you're single, do your man pay child support? How many children you got? All this stuff is in a database. Is how they get these statistics. You're not fooling anybody. All those little tricks that y'all trying to do, getting mad at Remnant for telling the truth, it's not working. And a lot of you, and tell you the truth, Remnant, when I used to watch Kevin Samuels pages, the ones who gave him the most pushback was the older women. It wasn't the younger women. He had a few, but they were listening to him, just like they're listening to you now. That's why you got a lot of young females out here nowadays. Some, they listening to you and the other people like, I don't think I want to do this because I've seen what my auntie went through. I saw what my mother went through. Deep down inside, they're not going to tell them the truth. They know deep down inside they did it wrong. But they're not going to tell their mothers and fathers that because they love them. Now, to end my rant, when we talk about the co-parents, you guys are not thinking about the psychological mindset of the child. When he goes to school, when he sees his friends from a different culture with both his parents together, he's going to look at his mother and father and be like, what's wrong with you all? What's wrong with our community? Why do we have to be in a co-parent situation? How come you two didn't get married? Oh, because I wasn't planned that way. Y'all was just having sex. I just came out. Very selfish of both parents. But I digress my point.
No, facts on facts. You know, it's interesting what you said about Michelle Obama, who was the one that introduced married women can be single moms. So many Fefails love to use that narrative. And it's just interesting to actually get where it came from, because I've heard of it so many times, but I never really actually understood where did this saying come from. And I think it's one of the most illogical things I've ever heard. And the worst part about it, it came from Michelle Obama. So it's shocking, but not shocking. It seems like she wanted to make it a safe space for degenerates, which she sadly did. I don't think that's really the way to go. And another thing as well that I agreed with you, I agreed with everything that you said, but with the whole my body, my choice, it sounds like a chant, not really something that you're living by. It's exactly what they are doing. They love to talk about my body, my choice, but when they end up pregnant, now it's about, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay? Are you going to marry me? But was it not your body? Was it not your choice to lay down with a man that clearly wasn't your husband? Clearly didn't show any real initiative to be a husband or to be a father. So if you really was about my body, my choice, then you would have acted that way before sleeping with a guy. And that's it, is that when they choose to lay down with these men, that's their choice. But when it comes to not having his baby, now it's well, we both did it. We are doing this. It seems like they don't ever want to take accountability for making the choice to lay down with the man. Yeah, what was you going to say?
Oh, no, I was listening. I was just saying, yeah, you're right. I was listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything that you said. Definitely learned something new about the whole Michelle Obama and married women are single moms. Like I said, the most illogical thing I could ever hear when a female says that. But, you know, they're always trying to save these single moms. And the truth is there's so many of them that you have to appeal to failure at some point if you actually want to have some type of clout or have some type of attention or make women feel a certain type of way. You are going to have to speak out to the failures as well.
Oh, absolutely. Or they can continue getting lied to for the men to get what they want out of them. Because I'm going to tell you ladies right now, especially you are single mothers, let me tell you something. Call me a gentleman, call me whatever you want, corny or whatever. I'm still a man at the end of the day. Biologically, every single man, one time in their life, excuse the LGBTQIA men, I'm just saying heterosexual men, we've all looked at a woman once in our life, one time in our life, and thought about 65,000 ways of what she looked like in the bed in different positions. We've all thought that. Now, however, it doesn't necessarily equate that we're going to get it, but we thought about it. But there are some men out in the world that is going to lie to you. Hell, I will lie to you. But I'm not going to put you in a situation where, you know, where I'm going to get you pregnant or anything. But at the same time, yes, men lie. We do. All of us do, even the gentlemen. Why do you think we do the things we do to get a woman's attention? We all do that stuff. But at the same time, I always tell women, if you are consenting to have any type of I'm not going to say the S word, any type of intimacy with any man. I don't care if he's a nice man. I don't care if he's one of the dudes out on the street like to wear certain fabrics and throw up the twisted fingers. I don't care what it is. As soon as you consent, it is your job to make sure that that man is wearing a condom. Actually, tell you the truth, I'd rather you tell the guy to go to the store and buy brand new ones. Just to make sure he hadn't poked any holes in it, or he haven't kept a condom that's a year old where everything done dried up so it wouldn't break. But that's just me. I digress.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's facts, to be honest, This is it. They don't actually want to. They love to say my body, my choice, but never want to actually make the choice to protect their body, which is interesting, right? Never want to actually make the choices, but love to say it as if they live by it. I want to acknowledge a super chat. Thank you, Derwin Walker, sent $2. Excellent. The Last Lady and you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I want to address something. I know you tell us not to look at the actual chat.
Go on.
The guy says, women stay away from honest men, stop the cap. Could we honestly say that that's the reason why they're in the position they're in right now? It's just an idea.
So, I am going to be locking off the live. Would you like to have your last thought?
Yes, yes, I would actually. Young ladies who do not have children out of wedlock, I want you to keep paying attention to these shows, and I want you to pay attention of how the women have responded to Remnant. And they always talking about don't judge and don't shame. I've heard like 1,000 judgments going at Remnant the whole entire time. They don't even understand the definition of judgment. We all make judgments in life. And if we want to save any type of society that we have left, we do need to bring out shame. We do need to bring back judgment. Just like when we talk about a lot of things here in America that's going wrong. Let me tell you something right now from a political point of view. You want to know, and I know this is not the show for this, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. You want to know why they're bringing different immigrants into America? Because the fact of the matter is they can pay them cheap and they will start families and stay with their families more than American people will. That's why they're doing it. They're trying to out you out of the voting booth. But I digress my point. I'm done.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As usual, always spitting some facts, always learning something. I want to give a big shout out to Mona D. Welcome. It's good to have you. As usual, it's good to see you. It's been a minute, so thank you for coming through. And shout out to my moderators as well. Alexander X Live, I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And my last thought, someone said maybe we need to look at men's behavior to women. It's interesting. The reality is it doesn't matter how men treat women. I know it's going to sound crazy, but it's never going to actually change how these Fefails act. Because once again, all the good men out there, all the responsible men out there don't have children. So who is really impregnating these Fefails? We can't keep looking at men's behavior when majority of men are not the ones doing the problem that we're seeing. It's not majority of men who are impregnating these Fefails. So we can talk about how men need to act this and men need to act that. Men are doing that. Majority of men are childless. So they are being responsible. They are actually acting accordingly. They're actually living up to standards. So there's nothing we can actually do about what men are doing when there's a small percentage of them who are impregnating these Fefails. So once again, it goes back to the Fefails. Fefails love to do what they do best, is be community boxes. That's why their household is always going to be at disadvantage and their children are going to be at disadvantage. Because too many Fefails enjoy being degenerate. That's why they like the Pookies and Ray Rays. They love the manipulators. They love the liars and the cheaters. Because to some extent, that's exactly what they are as well. They don't follow any standard. They don't follow any rules. They lack discipline. They don't uphold any traditional values. So to really think that they was going to attract anything else was really a hopeful wish that people would have for reality. But in the real world, Fefails are Fefails, and they are community boxes and do what community boxes do the best, which is open their legs without no commitment, without no intention, and definitely without no standard. So yes, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining me. Thank you everyone on TikTok. I appreciate you. Thank you Fly. Thank you Hawk. Thank you DJ. Thank you to my moderator. Thank you The Mirror. Thank you Different. And I also want to thank everyone on YouTube as well for coming through. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you. Appreciate the support. And thank you to Classy Perspective, always coming in with the facts.
Oh, Remedy, can I say one more thing?
Of course, go ahead.
You guys need to stop doing this to these children. They don't deserve this. And I ended with that.
Facts on facts. You know, and it's just funny you said that because it made me want to say something. They don't care about those pitneys. They just don't. It's like, if they really did care, then we wouldn't be having these conversations. These stats wouldn't exist if they did care. And that's the issue. A lot of these Fefails don't care. And I also want to give one more shout out to Kennard. Thank you. I see you. What's good? So yes. Thank you. And yeah, I'll be back live tomorrow. So definitely keep an eye out, same time. Thank you, and have a good day, and have a good night.
Have a good one.